Hello, hello, hello. This is a follow-up video to the last one that we just put up, the one that's is about Twisted Trees. We went through the library and everything and listened to the patches, but we didn't really look at the effects. So that's what we're going to do in this video. Now, the camera's not on because I've blown up the Omnisphere sort of interface to the absolute maximum that my screen will comfortably allow, so you can see what's going on and you're not going to be distracted by me wafting my hands around and pulling silly faces. So all I've done is gone into utilities, magnify window, and I've done it 1.7, so you can actually see what's going on. Now, there is two different effects that actually come with Twisted Trees. There's Twisted Space, which is been built as an ambience processor, and it comes with 115 natural elements that Diego Stocco recorded. So it's like convolution type. It's not, I wouldn't say reverb, but it's convolution ambience. It's a weird concept to get your head around, but it's really what it does to a sound, which we'll go into in a moment. And it's not just a reverb, it does echoes, multi-echoes, inverse echoes, BPM delays, jack of all trades. It's really interesting what it does. And we have Twisted Root. See what they did there? Woods, trees, root. Genius. Here we go. So what that does, the Twisted Root, it's like a subsonic enhancer. It adds a sub-octave to the sound, so it makes it deeper and richer and a bit more powerful. Now, I thought, what was the best way I could actually demonstrate this? And I thought, why not do it with a sound that everybody actually knows? And that sound is the default sound of Omnisphere. The most uninspiring source square bright waveform you could possibly have. So what I want to do is what I want it to be literally, I don't want it to go on ad infinitum, I want it to end. So what I'm going to do is going to bring the filter on, and I want it to be a bit more of a pluck. So you pluck bit more. That's okay. That gives the plucky effect. Now I want to stop it from repeating, sort of, going on infinitum. So take the release down, takes the stain right down to the bottom, and we should have take the depth down a bit. There we go. Just make that touch louder. There you go. So that gives you a nice sound to start with. No sort of looping or anything. Then we're going to the effects. I'm just going to the common because we've got nothing else going on. So we're going to sonic extensions, and we'll go for Twisted Space first. Now this is the default patch that you get as soon as you load Twisted Space. I've changed nothing. This is just the default. So it's just turned a very uninspiring into a percussive pad. It's crazy. And what you can do with that now is, if you go into more, you've got these natural elements. If you click on that, you've got a whole veritable host of sort of ambient sound sources to play with. So if I go to Amazonia, I'll get a different type of effect now. Yes, we just to check, we are still playing with a source square wave. There's no modulation going on, nothing. Let's go for another one. Emerging wood rub. I haven't got a clue what these sound like because I haven't gone through them all. So this is a voyage of discovery for both of us, or all of us. That's an interesting sound. Let's go for Creepers, Disturbing Rattler. let's go for another one. Airy Birds. Let's see what this sounds like. And yep, if you're still with me, still that sound. It's amazing. Forest logs. Now this would be a great time to actually bring in the second effect, which is Twisted Root. Now this adds a sort of like sub. So this is a basic sound. If I turn that off, see, it brings in a sub octave. And there's another screen here where you can faff around with your low, mids and highs and stuff. And if you want some of the already built presets, just click on that little arrow, that arrow there, and say I want it dark. I'll just change the output a bit. Now bring Twisted Space into it and I get I'm only playing around middle C as well. That is deep. Now if I change that now and say, let's say, Groaning Ents. Ents is Tolkien world. As an Ent. It's a living tree. But you knew that already. So that's a bit quiet. So let's just up the sound a bit. And that is literally what Twisted Root and Twisted Space have done too. Amazing. So we'll just go back into Twisted Space all on its own. So just go back to the main screen. Now again, there's some presets for Twisted Space. And again, click on the little down arrow and we'll have all these to play with. So if I wanted to say Utopia Land Echo, so that's going to be some kind of delay effect. Now, the reason why I could hear some of the square sound is because this little mix knob is about halfway. So if I bring it on full wet, lovely, wonderful ending there. So if I bring on Twisted Root, that'll add a nice sub-oscillator to it now. Hear that echo at the end, it's really nice. Now if let's try another one. Echo Birdies. Sorry, I need to change that, remember, to full wet. I'm bringing the Twisted Root. So if I go back to default preset, let's just go through these. Blend clearly is blending ambience in. So it's natural blend of the ambience. Time is like what you get in reverb, how big the space is. Regen is a really interesting effect. If I go to BPM multitap, see how that just fades off now. Now if I put regen in, I need to bring up a bit more. See how it keeps on going? It's like giving its own feedback effect. Now if I put that on full, now I'm not touching any keys now. This is just purely Twisted Space building up its own regen. So it's giving its own feedback. I'll stop it there because it can hurt the ears a bit too much, that. So you've got it's your own feedback machine in there, so you can self-oscillate. That's the word I was thinking of, which is it's absolutely crackers. It's coming from one effect. Inverse, just turn that off. Now just put some regen on. Now we've got the normal reverb. And then you've got the echo. So if you're listening in preferably stereo, you'll hear it bounce between the speakers. We have multi-tap, so this will be a multi-tap echo. And then we've got BPM delay. So that's what you get with Twisted Space. And if you go on to the more, you can have a sub-octave, so you can actually double the sub-octave. So you've got Twisted Root sort of octave enhancers here, and a sub-octave within Twisted Space. And now you've also got these, like I said, these natural elements. So if I just put it on Dripping Brook, you can colour the sound a bit. Now I can make it higher by cutting the low frequencies. Or I can make it darker by cutting the high frequencies. So it's got an awful lot of sound sculpting potential, because you could, let's see if this works, you could send that with an LFO, say. Let's go for an LFO on that. So I just want it to cut off. Don't want it too fast. Now what we could do actually is make that overlap. So I have more variety of the sound, and all we're actually playing with is a source square wave. Crackers what it can do to it. Let's go rounded air. So it's just amazing, just a little bit of modulation, got something completely different. So just unmodulate those, so don't mess things too much. Right, Twisted Roots. We've absolutely destroyed Twisted Space now. I've been waffling for, what, quarter of an hour on Twisted Space near enough. Well, because it's absolutely fantastic effect, what it does to a bog standard sort of square wave. Your Twisted Root, let's go back to the main screen. This is your sub-octave. Sorry about the loudness of there. I forgot to turn it back down. Let's go back down to -6. So you can change your sub-octave, hype. So that's your sort of that. Hypes your upper end. And then you can sustain the lows. surprise. It's subtle, but that's all you need. So if I turn those down, just set that back to default. And then you have the input level for Twisted Root to drive the circuits, the output level as to how sort of like loud the output is, and in between you can start faffing around with your drive and your low mids levels. Very simple. Let's just do a couple more. Quake. Mantle. Silt. And let's go for hi-fi. So that's basically, it's very subtle what Twisted Root does, but when it's put in conjunction with Twisted Space, let's just go for infinite liquid. Let's go. And we'll just do what we did last time. Let's make that 0. Absolute crazy what these two effects in tandem do to a simple source square wave. So this has been the effects for Twisted Trees, available from sonicextensions.com. You can get your copy now. Have a look at the previous video, that's just gone across the top now. It went across at the beginning of this video as well. If you've been with me this long, thank you very much. That video will give you a walkthrough of what this patch library sounds like. It's more than a patch library, it's like a whole new instrument. So thank you very much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it and enjoyed the tour, comment below, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and I will catch you in the next one. Until then.